Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our trading room. Hold on here a second. GoToWebinar has changed their interface again, which I hate. I don't know why software programmers have to keep changing stuff. They're all ADD. All right. Hopefully you got the screen share going on. The daily NASDAQ chart now for a bit of a reference. Yesterday, well, overall, yesterday, a fairly bullish day. A lot of that bullishness actually came in the overnight. The intraday session was fairly quiet overall. And then when the Asian session opened, then all of a sudden we saw a little bit of a rally. What's interesting to me now is not only do we have a bit of an upside gap from where we left off yesterday, but we're back in that 8,000 neighborhood. So as we approach 8,000 and breach 8,000, we're going to be paying attention to our volume, because if any breakout is to be sustained, volume has to be up. All right, for those of you who like your first in sync eagle signal, we have it right here. And it looks like we're still working the signal, not quite to our profit target just yet. A little bit of a swing up and down from the, London Open was right here. That's the Asian Open. After the London Open, looks like we recovered the earlier decline. And this was really yesterday's session through here. So they plotted higher, kind of a slow, methodical plod. Okay, well, we'll wait for them to do something. And while we're waiting, Ray Burke and I have had the opportunity to chat. I don't see Ray in the room here this morning, but you can look forward to hearing more from Ray in the future. In fact, Ray and I are going to alternate on the trading room. We're going to spell each other off for a week. I know you wouldn't think that hosting a trading room is draining, but it is. And I've been at it for a long time now. So Ray and I, we're going to alternate weeks. He's going to spell me off a little bit. It's Ray's a very good trader in his own right. I think you're going to notice a little bit of difference in our trading styles, but that's not a bad thing. There is more than one way to skin the proverbial trading cat, that is for sure. All right, looks like we've rallied up, hit the primary resistance zones, got a little bit of a double top going on. I guess we did produce a number 2 signal here. I was going to say I'm halfway surprised we didn't get a number 2 signal, but we did. The background highlight showing us that. Well, significant decline back here toward the hard edge of the trading band. Yeah, thanks. The other Ray in the room says, well, that sounds good, Eric. I think, like I said, I think you'll enjoy Ray Burke. He's pretty darn funny to begin with, and he was on board when it came to designing the DTS and Raptor systems, so he knows them very well. A little bit of a bolt lower. They kind of put the brakes on the hard edge. And it looks like right now they're fairly content just to trade over the same numbers. That's right. We'll give them a minute here to settle in. It is early. It's only 8 minutes into the day, 9 minutes into the day. All right. So we're back here to the hard edge. We're trying to get that number 3 signal. We've got a late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. I wonder, maybe I should cover it to the short side if the market, oh no, the late filter entry signal is going to spoil now. I was going to say I'm going to cover it to the short side if we trade below this little swing low. they're thinking about it. We could, you know, this is a feasible trade scenario. It's a little risky because we're looking for the initial breakout. Actually, I'm not going to do it. I was going to say we could bracket the high, we could bracket the low. But there's always that risk of a fake break. So I'm not going to press my luck. If we establish a little bit of a sideways trading range here, then we can bracket it. Then we can look for the breakout, look for the retest, and that will enable us to stay on the right side of the trade. Or should enable us to stay on the right side of the trade. Until then, it looks like we're just going to make a little bit of a sideways trading range. We'll check the news, see if there's anything new and exciting. Okay, there's the breakout. So what I'm looking at, and I usually do this on the Eagle, but you can do it on any of the tools really. Well, maybe not the Hawk. The Hawk might be a little bit too busy. But if we're going to call this a trading range, this is now the breakout. We got to look for the retest. So if we can get a couple of bars counter, there we go. So now we can put our just in case order to buy up there. And you could put a just in case order to sell down here. Because what we're looking at is we're looking at an attempt to rally the market. So if the market does not rally at this point, well, guess what? It's probably going to head lower. Okay, well, this could be interpreted as a rule of three type trade. If I were smart, I would do a breakout and retest on the short side. All right, let's see what they got. Let's see whether the sellers can actually push the market lower now. So I'm in at 69.5. My 10-point target. Oh, wow, they're making gains quickly here. It might be worth trying to ride this a little bit lower, but I won't be too greedy. Come on, give me that one bar. I'm at my swing target, by the way. No, don't stop me out. Oh, come on. See, what's going on is we're retesting the bottom end now, right? So we have the breakout. Some traders are thinking it's a good idea to retest before they head lower. And I'm saying, no, it's not. Just get going. Okay, rode out that little swing. Come on. This bar is going to have a little wick to it, so I'm going to jam my stops in here. Well, that's all right. They tapped me. My concern was if this bar goes bullish, I'm probably going to get more than one, in which case they're going to tag me at break even, so I may as well try to cover. That now lending a very bearish flavor to the market, that move. We can do the opposite now. We have our breakout. We're working on the retest. You could put your just in case order to short down here now. Okay, well, they're struggling on the retest. We're getting sort of a late filter entry signal here in the Falcon. The Raptor, a little bit late with that number one signal. When you see a number one signal develop after a big move like this, a second push entry strategy is not a bad way to go. And all that does is it only brings you into the market if, in fact, the market is picking up some momentum, which, after a rather impressive move lower, what happened to all that momentum? We might be in for a little bit more of a pullback. Yeah, there's the number two signal now. Okay, well, we're making our way back to the hard edge. This, of course, where the market tends to give us some sort of reaction. And if we do get a bearish reaction from that, you can see here on our eagle, it's once again very much like a test retest type scenario. Oh, we'll just wait. All right, well, we're making a fairly decent little run up here. Let's see if we're getting any other signals. Looks like the Falcon may develop into a trend change signal. The Hawk already bullish, but I don't know. I'm kind of waiting for a little bit better test of the extreme, which means I have to see a little, at least a little bit of a pullback here somewhere. They're sure slow. Okay. Well, here's the Falcon with a possible trend change signal. I might consider it before the market gets too far away from me. So I'm just anticipating where the signal is going to print. And what I'm looking at is by gaining an earlier entry, I can afford to have my stops below the lows. Okay, get the trade to break even. We're 3/4 of the way to the profit target, and oh, you stinkers. That wasn't nice. Had the right idea. It just wouldn't let me ride out the swing, but oh well. Break even's better than a loss. Okay, so now we have the market in a bit of a bind. I can put my just in case order to short. I can put my just in case order to buy. Because what this is here is a retest of the breakout. So we have the breakout, we have the retest. At this point, the sellers either have to take control of the market or they're going to lose it to the buyers. And all I'm doing is setting my profit targets. I'm going to use a swing target. I'm not going to go for the full eagle target, just because it doesn't seem like there's that much follow through. All right, it's a little bit of a convoluted rule of three, given that there hasn't been much of a downtrend, but here we go with a possible move higher. Okay, well, we actually sort of developing another mini sideways trading range, right? We had that one there, and now we're building another one kind of like this. All right, the green bar sell, hard edge bounce, sellers looking a tad more aggressive. It's okay, we got them covered. Let's see what's going on here in the other tools. Well, here comes the Falcon with the trend change signal. The Hawk is in sync. The Raptor should be producing a number one signal as the clouds come back into sync. The next signal produced will be a number one signal to sell. All right, let's set that on the sidelines. You know, when the market's sideways like this, it's always a challenge to discern direction because it's equally likely to go higher or lower, at least when it's trending. You can favor the longs or the shorts. Look at how neutral the trading band here in the Hawk, or the Raptor is becoming. Just dead neutral. Okay, we're getting another green bar sell, and we're getting a sell signal with the Raptor. So I'm going to actually roll my entry order in a little bit. And technically we have a rule of three, so you know what? I'm gonna start to squeeze this trade here. There. Let's go take a look at that Raptor signal. Oh yes, there we go. It's a number one signal. A bit of a messy number one signal. I'm not sure I'd want to take it as is. Well, they're making a bit of a stab at it. As we get closer to the trend line, we're going to get a few more of the buyers interested, and then if the buyers lose their grip, well, then the sellers are probably going to jump all over them. So this could be your second push opportunity on the number one signal if there's a little bit of a pushback from here now. All right. They're thinking about it. We're up against the recent lows. Or actually, I guess those would be the lows of the morning, wouldn't they? Here around the 79.60 zone. Here we go. Ah, you stinkers. I just tried to move my stop out of the way before they tagged it. Doggone it. One tick too tight. Oh, well, I do have my profit in. That was unfortunate because the market's very likely going to try to continue lower now that we've broken those lows. But I have made my trade quota. I am profitable on the day. Trade quota in the sense of the number of trades I've taken. I am profitable on the day. So at this point, I would probably call it a day. You know, we'll hang out here for a little while still, but just so you know, as I tend to beat into your heads, it's not trading more often that makes you the money. It's capitalizing correctly on your positions. That's what's going to earn you the money. Well, what happened to all that selling pressure? You would think that the sellers would have more control over the market at this point. If they bounce back off of this low of the morning it may open up a buying opportunity. We'll see. Not going to get too bullish just yet. Okay, well, I guess I was a little premature in my bullish expectations there as the market continues to drift a little bit lower. The ranges look a little bit more impressive than they have been. And by that, I mean, you look at your chart and you get these, substantial moves higher and lower. But if you look at the overall range has not been that great. So we have that range, then we have this, right, lower, and now we have this lower. So it appears to me as though we might be losing some of that bearish momentum. But that's just me. Oh, hey, we got a number 2 signal. Why don't we give that a whirl? That's a technical trading term. You could leave your number 2 signal, or pardon me, your exit order below the low to short, because of course, if the bottom comes out of this market, then it's very likely to continue lower. Bollinger Suite in sync. All right. Again, a bit of a number two signal, not printing as a number two because we have the, I guess maybe it wasn't enough of a test of the extreme, but that is what we're looking at here, another number two signal. Technically, I suppose it's counter trend, but the trend is so weak, it's really hard to call it. They're thinking about it. The Bollinger's in sync again, which is nice. Beating up on me a little bit here off of this hard edge. Excuse me. Well, that worked out okay. Didn't even need to worry about getting my trade to break even once they decided to put in a little giddy up. They finally got up to the profit target. Hooray. Well, I'm I'm quite pleased with how I was trading today. I was working very hard on exercising patience, because sometimes as a room moderator, you feel like you got to be showing something. That's I know it doesn't seem like much of a pressure, but believe me, it is. When you have a room full of people, they're all expecting you to do something. Show us how smart you are, Eric. Yeah, okay. But I hope that I've shown you that how if you pick your moments and if you take the time to look at what the market is doing, how sometimes it will tip its hand to you, especially, when you get these sideways trading ranges. I think these are almost as good as money in the bank. If you can determine that the market is sideways, and then when it gets the breakout and the breakout fails, like ideally we would have seen a little bit of a pushback here, so we could have shorted it early. But even though we didn't, once it broke to the short side, it did the same thing in reverse, right? So not only did we get the initial break, but we had a chance to get it on the rebound, if you will. And the whole time we're able to stay on the correct side of the market, not get too anxious jumping back and forth between signals. All right, gang, we're going to be closing up the room here at the bottom of the hour. So if anybody has any questions, please ask away. If you're staying with the market today, I would have thought that we would see a break of 8,000 today. The way the market started the day, I thought, yep, we're going to see a breach of 8,000. We'll see if it holds. But so far, nada. We do have a little bit of a pullback going on. Got ourselves a nice little green bar sell on the Eagle and a number one signal here on the Raptor. I think it makes more sense to stay short, as that does seem to be the trend for the time being. And I bracket that with the fact that the market is a little bit soft to the short side. We were just looking at those gains, those ranges, and they do seem to be waning a bit. All right, gang, I will catch you again tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.